let's talk about the AFC South team needs.
Okay, this is an interesting one.
Yeah, because we've got, the AFC South is typically the Colts and then
The Colts and pals.
the Colts and J.J. Watt and garbage.
Yes.
But so let's start with the Colts. And they've made great free agent signings so far.
They have.
A couple of elderly gentlemen from the U to bolster the offense, and Andre Johnson and
but not necessarily the problem for Indianapolis.
But added some talent on the offensive line.
Yes.
And also Trent Cole. But we talk about their needs, and that starts with nose tackle.
Yeah, they need somebody as wide as this desk.
They desperately need someone who can stop those monsters, Jonas Gray and LeGarrette Blount.
However, will you do that? Just by getting a
they need some talent. That's I would say is their biggest need.
Yeah.
Also safety. LaRon Landry, the PED enthusiast.
Yes.
LaRon Landry has been cut.
No good.
They need another safety to pair with Mike Adams.
Right, and on the offensive line, if you're going to invest in Frank Gore, obviously Andrew Luck's payday is coming very, very soon. The middle and right side of their line has been a need for improvement.
Yeah, Gosder Cherilus, one of the great names
Fun
in
to
the
say.
NFL. Not so much the talent they need. He might hold on to that job simply because of his contract.
Right.
But center, right guard, right tackle, they need some more talent.
They need to address there. All right.
The Texans.
Yeah. A team it feels like they're very close to being good. If they can stay healthy and get average quarterback play.
Yeah, this is what a sad thing that they just this is what a great team if they could just have an average quarterback.
Yeah.
And Brian Hoyer and Ryan Mallett, nice guys, but
far below. At least Hoyer is far below average.
The Houston Texans, the best quarterback in their team history is Matt Schaub.
Yeah, for like a year and a half.
That makes me sad.
That does.
That makes me sad.
What do they need?
I would love to see them have a franchise quarterback.
Okay.
Beyond that, they need a center. They cut Chris Myers. There's talk of moving left guard Ben Jones inside and then putting Xavier Suafilo in the line for him. But regardless of what they choose to do, they're going to need some depth there.
All right, and on defense, obviously rushing the passer is not going to be an issue, but behind, or I guess in the middle of those outside linebackers, they're getting a little older.
Brian Cushing has suffered from multiple injuries over the last couple of years. And that's the solid part of the inside linebacking crew.
That's true.
At the other spot, they did a rotation last year because no one could really hold the job down. They need youth and talent there.
Yes, and behind the linebackers?
They could use some help at defensive back. They're set at cornerbacks. They signed Raheem Moore, but DJ Swearinger is kind of alternating between stealing his own truck and letting his dog bite Jadeveon Clowney.
Entertainment value-wise,
DJ
Swearinger is a Pro Bowler. He's everything you want in a headline.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the Jaguars.
Let's do it.
A youthful team getting a lot better.
They're better. It's a slow build. Defensively, there's actually a lot to like about them up front.
There is.
Where are the holes?
Let's start with running back, actually.
Yeah.
And not something you're going to spend a first rounder on.
Right.
Denard Robinson was a big surprise last year.
Yes.
Who was not a surprise was Toby Gerhart.
Right. You know exactly what you're getting in Toby Gerhart, which is not high-end anything.
I like Robinson a lot, but I don't think he's the every down back that
he's more a versatuile guy who can come out of the backfield, run some different stuff.
And they could use a center. Jacques McClendon lost his job last year, and Luke Bowenko.
Yes.
I think I just said it wrong, but...
no, you're good. It's close. People know who you're talking about generally.
I'm in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And neither of those guys is the long-term answer.
Yeah.
They need a talented center, too.
Yeah, they invest in the quarterback last year early on in the draft. Obviously, the receiver position isn't terrible, especially if they can get Justin Blackmon back with what they drafted last year. But yes, there are some holes, and especially now along the offensive line.
Let's talk about their third overall pick. Now, their defensive ends, they cut Red Bryant. Chris Clemens is very good, but, but pushing into his 30s now. And they're probably going to use that third overall pick for pass rusher.
Wouldn't hate that.
No, Dante Fowler's a great player.
Yes, next.
The Titans. Now, this is a team... How do we put this? They're set at left tackle. They're set at cornerback.
Sure.
They're set at outside linebacker.
I like their defensive tackle situation. I like Jarrell Casey.
After that, they've got some big holes, and let's start with quarterback.
Yeah.
Zach Mettenberger. He can grow a great mustache.
He can.
I'm not entirely sure that he is the person you want as your franchise quarterback.
His ceiling is, he's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right. Your voice goes up when you talk about Zach Mettenberger. He's all right.
If he can start 12 games, that's a huge improvement over Jake Locker.
Right, but it's not going to get you to the playoffs year in and year out.
No. They could use a right tackle. They signed Michael Oher in free agency. He was not good.
Didn't work out.
He's cut. They could use a right tackle. That's a very important position to have,
I would say
Dan.
so.
That's my opinion as a football expert.
Look at you.
Their defensive line, outside of Jarrell Casey, they're not good against the run.
Right.
They did not have a very good pass rush. They need to add some talent on the defensive line.
And at 2, if Leonard Williams is there, which we assume he will be, big win.
That's how you feel by putting that guy who is wider than this desk.
This is true.
And then at safety.
I was going to say Leonard Williams versus Brian Hoyer. Who you got? Who you got?
At safety, Denora Searcy, the free agent signing, helps a lot. But Bernard Pollard was caught. He was caught.
He gets caught too.
He'll get caught by another team. Michael Griffin, disappointing. To be generous. That's generous to say Michael Griffin was disappointing.
Yeah,
so,
if I'm Tennessee, I'm just piling up picks and just addressing defenders in this draft.
Maybe he's one of those mid-round picks on one of the 5 safeties we talked about in this episode.
That would be a great idea.
There we go.
There it is.
And those are AFC South team needs, Dan.
I'm actually saying right now, the AFC South is going to be entirely more fun to watch this year than it was last year.
I agree. I think if these teams draft well, we could see a stark improvement in the quality of play in the AFC South next year.
Agrees all around. Thank you very much for watching Future Consideration. Of course, AFC South team needs. Let us know in the comments what your team in the AFC South must do. See you next week.